Good afternoon, Professor Tony Baller and fellow students. My name is Caitlin Goodrich, and this is my presentation for LIS536 Multicultural Materials. I chose to focus my research on the LGBTQIA+ youth community and the literature contained within various public library systems, as well as examples of how to provide an inclusive space for this marginalized community. As many of you may know, LGBTQIA+ stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, intersex, asexual, and plus. As I myself identify as a member of the LGBTQIA+ community, I felt it was important to focus on the youth and how they are catered to within public library systems. Even in the 21st century, public libraries can always provide more of an inclusive space for this marginalized community. As explained in the article, Progressive LGBTQ Reference Coming Out in the 21st Century by Bharat Mehra, Mehra stated, readily available reading materials and reference services for the LGBTQ community patrons have long been limited in scope, isolated and fragmented in spread, and buried in content within the encompassing hegemonic trends of heterosexuality we encounter. So I pose the question, how can public libraries enhance the visibility of LGBTQIA+ youth and provide them with the literature they want and require? Here are 3 learning objectives that I will address during this presentation. 1. The participant will create resources for the LGBTQIA+ youth community that will be easily accessible. 2. The participant will learn what literature appeals to the LGBTQI+ community and how to add to the existing collection. 3. The participant will create a safe space that is inclusive and welcoming to the LGBTQIA+ youth community. In regards to how public libraries can offer easily accessible resources for the LGBTQI+ youth community, I look to the American Library Association website, which offers a toolkit of sorts that help guide you in everything LGBTQI+ youth related. There are explanations on how to catalog your library and provide the community with a vast LGBTQI+ literature without having the teen or child have to reserve the book through interlibrary loan. The website also provides hyperlinks to the GLAAD Media Reference Guide and Human Rights Campaign Glossary of Terms. These links can be passed along to the youth so they have a place to go to make sense of the community they are currently navigating. I provided a hyperlink in this presentation so you can view at your leisure. A good example of easily accessible resources in a public library system is the Rochester Public Library in Minnesota, which has a wealth of resources for the LGBTQIA+ youth community. If you access their website, they have a whole page dedicated to information and accessible websites for children and teens, as well as programming information geared towards the community, such as Q Club, which is a meetup for LGBTQIA+ youth and allies, and the Genderqueer Non-Binary Meetup. Some online resources the Rochester Public Library provides for the youth and teens are Advocates for Youth, Gay and Lesbian Community Service of SE Minnesota, GSA Network, It Gets Better, which is an uplifting program for all the LGBTQIA+ youth community, and many more. I screenshot the webpage and provided a link if you wanted to take a look at that at a later time. This is a wonderful model to provide the promotion of inclusivity. In regards to developing a collection that appeals to the LGBTQIA+ youth community, through the research I conducted by reading scholarly articles, I found that the data showed that although libraries make a good faith effort, there is still work to be done. As an example, I used 3 branches from the New York Public Library System: the Bronx Library Center branch, the Seward Park branch, and the Stapleton branch, and 3 branches from the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library: Crane Branch Library, North Park Branch Library, and the Isaiah Gonzalez Branch Library. I searched through their catalog and found that combined, the 3 branches at the New York Public Library System only had 115 items related to the youth LGBTQIA+ community. And there was only 122 combined through the 3 Buffalo and Erie County Public Library branches. This may seem like a decent amount, but it does not account for the number that may be missing or lost. It also appeared that the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library branches did a more adequate job in dispersing the LGBTQIA plus content throughout the city branches, as opposed to the New York Public Library system, where it seems as though that the Bronx Library Center branch has an overwhelming amount of a collection compared to the other locations within the system. It would be beneficial for them to disperse it evenly throughout the whole system. To piggyback off of that, in the article Out and Ignored by Deborah Lau Whalen offered ways on how a public library can expand their LGBTQIA plus youth literature collection. Some that stood out were: start with a good bibliography, visit your local library, any connections made outside of school, whether with libraries or organizations that serve LGBTQIA plus youth teens, are good ones. This also helps to network with other staff. Support your selection with good reviews. This can help children and teens understand the content to see if it appeals to them and see if you should include it in your collection. Include LGBTQIA plus titles and book talks. Make these books accessible and create a support system. In regards to creating a safe and inclusive space for the LGBTQIA plus youth community, we can look at the article Libraries as Refuge by Deborah Takahashi. Once again, she explains how in 2014, Ferguson, Missouri came together and encouraged people to utilize the library as a safe space for all of them to sit and think about the tragic death of Michael Brown and be with each other in a time of healing. Safe Space ended up becoming a national organization for youth to utilize whenever they felt uncomfortable and needed access to certain resources. Similar projects to this are the Safe Zone Project and the GLSEN Safe Space Kit, which provides workshops for professionals on how to handle marginalized youth and provide a safe zone for them. On the Safe Zone Project website, there is a free downloadable 2-hour course that teaches you how to properly offer a safe space, which also includes a detailed curriculum on how to do so, as well as handouts to provide to people that are trying to learn that curriculum. I provided a hyperlink on this poster. As mentioned numerous times in this presentation, the increased visibility of the LGBTQIA plus youth community is critical, especially in today's political climate. Public libraries can promote outreach by contacting local LGBTQIA plus organizations and networking with them to see what programs would be best to fit. They can create weekly meetups, as suggested by many scholars we heard from today. Library staff can utilize innumerable amounts of databases to further their knowledge on what LGBTQIA plus youth community want. And most importantly, librarians and library staff can ask the youth themselves. Thank you for tuning in, and check the description of this YouTube video below for hyperlinks. And I look forward to seeing the rest of the presentations.